Good morning, me again, and as usual, yes, I am on my commute and hands-free, so I'm able to focus on the road and drive. I'm just thinking out loud and recording. I've had a night to sleep on what I was thinking yesterday. Hi, baby. Oh, my Chandler is curling up here beside me. Hi, baby. I've had a night to think about it, and I need to sit with it more. That said, for myself, I have two amazingly wonderful supports in my life that I'm going to actually reach out to and ask for some of that additional support that I feel I've been needing, if they're open to it. I can't believe I'm second guessing myself about it, but I really am. That little voice inside my head, you're gonna chase off these people, you're gonna put too much on them, and they're gonna withdraw from you. I don't believe that's the case, though. If I look at our history together and who they are, I don't believe they would do that. That voice inside of me that just says I'm not good enough and I don't deserve is where these other thoughts are coming from. Hi, baby. My daughter had an incredibly hard day yesterday. While we were at the Sundance, her oldest dog, her partner let her know her oldest dog was a little sick. Her partner did contact others. They made phone calls. They talked to Adrian, and collectively the decision was, give her some support at home and continue to monitor. It didn't seem that bad, and just monitor and be aware, and everyone was okay with that. And Adrian got home and was fine too. Like, she wasn't startled and panicked, but the agreement was, unless Minnie was back to 100% by the time we got home, she was going to go to the vet. And my daughter took her dog to the vet, and Minnie's a big girl. She's a big girl. Minnie is kind of a joke name because she's not a dainty little thing. She's a small horse. She is such an amazing soul, but she is a small horse. The family my daughter got her from were claiming she's untrainable. She never listens. They were harsh on this poor loving soul. And Minnie's been nothing but a godsend for our family. She's got this innate ability to tell when somebody is trapped in their own mind and the thoughts are cycling and spiraling in a bad way. She's got this innate sense of knowing when that's happening and getting literally right in your face and saying, look at me. No, stop thinking. Look at me. I need love. Look at me. Pet me. Cuddle me. And you'll do it for a while, and you'll see her just light up. And if the thoughts take over again, she will do it again. She gets right there, her nose close to you, just the determination in her eyes and body language. No, 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 no. You need me. Cuddle me, love me. You need to stop thinking. She did it to me once, and by the third time, I was starting to realize this was happening. And my daughter busted out laughing and explained to me that was one of Minnie's gifts. She knows when you're in a bad space, and she wants to bring you back from it and ground you. Anyhow, this amazing girl who is big, when my daughter got her, she was over 100 pounds, maybe 110. And the vet said she was slightly overweight. I could be off. In fact, I'm sure I'm off on my scale. My memory doesn't hold things like it should right now. So if 5 is an ideal, then Minnie was a 6. Maybe 6.5. Not nervously overweight. Not, oh my God, put her on a diet, she's at risk of health concerns. Just on the higher side of ideal. Anyway, when they got to the vet yesterday, Minnie was down to 65 pounds and dehydrated and still not eating. So they did some tests. They're not 100% sure what's happening with her, but they kept her for the day. They put her on IV fluids and gave her anti-nausea medicine and the gastric food. You know, when puppies are really sick, they give them that really easy to digest stuff from the vet. Anyway, by 5 p.m. last night, 5:30 p.m., Minnie went home to be monitored by my daughter with, you're watching for this, this, and this. And if she doesn't get better, bring her back sooner. But if you're monitoring and she eats and she's still going to the bathroom and she's drinking, bring her back in a slightly longer time frame because they want to follow up. So my daughter is facing some really hard possible end-of-life care decisions for this beautiful soul in her life. And she knows that. She knows that. She's addressed it, and she says, I know I'm never going to be ready. So it's fair to say I am not ready now. And but she does, logically she understands it, but her heart is breaking. And I understand that too. I do. My heart is breaking for this beautiful soul and my daughter for what they're going through. Anyway, I'm doing what I can to help out, checking in. I'm helping to pay the vet bills. And I'm also not just checking in on how the dog's doing. I want to know how my daughter is doing with this. Those are very hard things to face as a loving pet owner. So that's kind of today. I'm on my way to work. I have a couple of sessions. I have some time. I have some bills to pay. I'm actually interviewing to possibly foster some puppies. Partly because they put a call out. They're short foster homes. And partly because I'm a sucker for puppies. I really am. But I also, don't get me wrong, I love Chandler. And truthfully, having another puppy in the home would possibly help Chandler. And if it doesn't help, it's not a lifetime commitment. It's not. It's a, I will help until we can find where these puppies belong. So I can see how Chandler does and decide if we're going to foster ongoing, or you know what, this didn't work at all for our situation, so I need to withdraw from it. I'm dipping my toe in the water. Plus, truthfully, one of the most amazing dogs I've ever had in my life was a foster that my daughter found. And had she not tragically and suddenly passed, she may still be with me. I don't know. Time has passed so fast. She may have been too old at this point, but she tragically passed. But smart and intelligent and had all of the foundation for service work training. And I didn't know that at the time because I wasn't at that point in my life. So part of it is selfish. I'm on the lookout for another service prospect. Getting Chandler a companion would be wonderful. Providing a safe home for these dogs and starting their training and all of that will be so wonderful for both Chandler and I. And then when the right home comes along for these dogs, if they're not a fit that I want to keep and start training in depth with myself, finding them their forever home and providing the gift of unconditional love to the next person. And I know it's going to be hard to say goodbye to these puppies, don't get me wrong. I bond. But I'm going to be aware that we are a foster home, and to love for the time and help them on their journey, wherever that takes them. So I'm excited. I have that interview this morning, the video interview. I've done all the other paperwork. Anyway, I have that video interview this morning, and we'll see how that goes. I've made a decision regarding my business and moving. We were negotiating a larger space, and I've withdrawn from that negotiation. I made that decision yesterday and finalized the paperwork for the withdrawal and apologized to everybody because the building is amazing. It just reaches above the ceiling of what I'm comfortable with, and not by a little bit. Originally, I thought it was a little unmanageable, but as the lease came in and all of the fine details came in, the risk is too high for me to commit for 5 years. I could drown, and I don't want to do that. So today I'm going to reach out to my current landlord and negotiate a 2-year lease. We're going to stay put. I'm going to stop looking. I'm going to release it to the universe that in 2 years I'll be ready, and see what the universe brings to me at that time. But for now, I've been actively looking for over a year. A couple of times I found places that I thought would be okay, but I ran into so many issues. Sometimes it was contractors that wouldn't even show up to give me quotes on the work I would need done on the space. Sometimes it was being misled in regards to the financial aspects. And once everything was on paper and I realized I can't agree to that for whatever reason, either it felt too much like a predatory lease, or in this case it's not predatory at all. It just, now that I clearly see the whole picture, I'm above my ceiling, and there is the possibility I could be pushed significantly above my ceiling if something were to go sideways. And I can't take that risk. I can't risk my company. So, we're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay. We're gonna pull together as a team. We're gonna continue to work on this and figure it out. Absolutely. I strongly believe when it's meant to be, it comes together easily. That's what happened when I launched my business. Everything just fell into place so easily and so quickly. And I was never afraid of making the leap. This is a bigger step. I understand there's fear involved with it. I understand that's normal. I also understand excitement and anxiety have the same physical feelings in the body. But I sat with it and accepted it and got really far into the process. And then the lease caused me a panic, which I addressed with my realtor and told him, let me sleep on it and see. And the next morning I was like, no, this is concerning. I do need these addressed, please. And they tried their best. But the compromise was, to me, a very superficial compromise. And my realtor tried to explain to me why. But I'm still conflicted. Very conflicted. And that's why I'm pulling back. There's another layer to this conflict as well. That my realtor, the agency, is also the realtor for the building owner. It makes me question, are you really hearing me and understanding me? Or are you trying to work it into what's best for the landlord rather than what's best for myself and my business? And I understand that happens, and don't get me wrong, I get it, it's business, I get it, but at the same time, this was my ceiling, we went above it, and then the risks, and I'm signing to agree to those risks, could take me up to $2,000 a month over my ceiling. I can't, it's too much. And just the stress of that hanging over me isn't okay. So I've withdrawn. And I'm at peace with that. I really am. I feel bad because it feels like everyone's pulled together for me to try and make it work. And for that, I do appreciate it. But I do have to honor. I had set a boundary that was a little pushed, and I agreed to a little push. I didn't agree to almost 50% over my boundary. No, I can't do that. Part of me struggles with setting and keeping boundaries. So this has possibly just been testing me if I would keep this boundary or if I would let someone push it to a limit, not just push the limit a little bit, but break my boundary, and I can't. So it's okay. I'm good with this. I want to say I am 60 to 70, maybe 65%. I'm good. There's still that twinge in the back that's like, I feel bad getting this far and pulling out of the negotiations, but that's okay. The reason it got this far is because I knew I had a fail-safe. Anyway, that is slowly being put behind me. And my calm and belief in I'm doing what I need and I'm doing what's right for myself and my business is growing. And my team understands that I'm the one who has to make these decisions. I'm the one who is entering into these contracts. And in the end, I'm the one who has to maintain it. They have limited contracts that when they expire, they can move on. They have no long-term obligation to me in that respect. So they understand and they get it. And they also, were in agreement originally that this is our space and this is how it works, and we're going to continue to try and change things and make things better, and I'm open to your suggestions. But again, I'm the one who signs on the bottom line for the business. So anyway, today's going to be a good day. The sun is shining. Mostly blue skies. There's a few clouds, but the sun is shining. It rained last night. There's a lot of moisture on the ground right now. But it's good. It's good. The bug bites on my ankle are slowly healing. And by slowly, I mean they are itching like crazy, and I'm having to medicate them up to 4 times a day right now while they heal. But that's okay. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. That's it. I'm making baby steps in the right direction. I'm making the connections that I need to make for myself, for the business, and for myself and Chandler as a team. We're getting there, and that's okay. Baby steps in the right direction is what brought me to finish marathons, to climb mountains. I can do it. I know I can. So today, I'm embarking on another day on this beautiful earth. I'm excited for what's ahead. I have reached out to one individual to let them know I would like to talk, and invited them for a meal. And I said, if that day doesn't work, let me know, because I really do want to sit with you and connect and talk. So we'll see what happens, and I'm going to reach out to the other soon. And, yeah, it's time for me for some growth and rejuvenation. In the course of the next 6 weeks, I want to do some purging at the office and overhaul so it doesn't feel so crowded in there. I want to open the space up. So I will slowly start focusing on being able to do that. Yeah. And start rebuilding. There are things in my life I need to rebuild. Not just continue to grow in certain areas, but rebuild in others. And as scary as it seems and feels for rebuilding, in certain areas, I know what I need to do. One step at a time, baby steps forward, and I will climb that mountain. I know I will. In other areas, I'm scared. That voice in my head haven't been able to do this to now, what makes you think you can do it? Do you really deserve that? Do you really think you should put that on someone else? Do you deserve that kind of support from this person? You're a fraud. My inner voice is very harsh. But I've learned to challenge it and to push it. And you know, sometimes that inner voice is a balance for me. It reminds me that what I do leads to me carrying a very, very heavy load. So those I turn to for support for myself, I have to be very aware. What are their capabilities in supporting even a small portion of this load with me? Because if asking them to help support me through a bit is going to overwhelm them, I don't want to. I need to connect with strong, confident, assured people. And also those that can say, my boundary, I need to rejuvenate myself. I need to step back. I need to trust that they can say that to me so that I can feel safe in when I go to them and ask, that I truly believe that yes, they are capable, and not just saying yes because they feel obliged to say yes. And while I'm talking about this, I just feel so wonderful about the kind of growth for everybody involved that this will bring about. It gives me the opportunity to work with people that I love and encourage them to have boundaries and to stick with them and to see that they have boundaries and stick with them. And when they stick with them, for me to not take that as a rejection. It's not a rejection. It's a boundary, and they're growing, and this is amazing. And they're not saying no forever. They're saying no for now. Let me rejuvenate and let's revisit later. So it's wonderful. It is. And I love that in relying on others, I can support. In that reliance, I'm also supporting growth for them. That almost makes it feel better. I'm not just take. It's a give and take. Even when I'm taking, I'm giving. Or I try to give. I can do this. I can do this. I can. I know I can. I believe in me. And I believe in those I'm reaching out to. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being my sounding board to help me work through these processes. And I hope you've gained something as well in this process. I've never really said this before, but I've always meant to, that, you know, if you have any questions or any comments or, okay, you know what, even if you have concerns, anything, reach out. Reach out. I know I'm not screaming to the void, even though sometimes it feels that way. I know I'm not just screaming into the void for no reason. I genuinely do believe there's a purpose to this. Maybe that purpose is that somebody else is on a similar journey and struggling and don't understand what's holding them back. I know I have moments like that. I can walk journeys with other people and help them discover. I help them discover their boundaries. I don't tell them what their boundaries are because I don't know. I give them the strength to self-reflect and to use their words or their way of communicating to me what the boundary is. And once we as a team identify a boundary, their words and my encouragement to find those words, we really define it and look at it so that we can decide, okay, this is what this block or boundary really is. Let's look at it. Let's not have it in our imagination become this huge, huge thing. Maybe it is huge, maybe it's not. And if it is huge, nobody climbs a mountain in a single step. By looking at it and defining it and understanding it, we're better able to clearly see the path, the baby steps that we could take to get there. You never get from where you are to the finish line, boom, there's a path, but you can't see it when you're overwhelmed, and all you can see is the finish line and not the terrain and the path between where you are and where you need to be. I understand that so well when working with others. It's funny how I forget sometimes for myself. So yeah, I'm on a good path. And my step for today is just to be grateful for the gifts I have of today. And for all the gifts that today is going to bring to me. And that at the end of the day, I have a safe, warm, secure home to retreat to with Chandler. That alone is such amazing gifts. And that's my baby step for today towards climbing this mountain. Just tiny things. Reach out. Hey, can we talk? Can we set up a time for the two of us just to sit and really connect and talk? That's the first step in finding those people. I wish everyone all the best. And I pray you're able to see what baby step will take you in the right direction on your journey today. We'll chat again soon. Have a great day, and no matter what mountains are ahead of you, please try to see just a little something to be grateful for today, no matter how tiny.